with the trends of material nature. Now, what do I mean by that? What Krishna talks about in the Gita, I'm talking about in relation now to the 5 a.m. club.
Sorry, sir, I'm blown away by what you said. Can you say that line again? The material world and material nature. What's the line again?
Either try to synergize ourselves with the trends of this material world, or we can try and synergize ourselves with the trends of universal nature.
Go on now.
Yeah. In this world, there are 3 basic energies: sattva, goodness; rajas, passion; and tamas, ignorance. So these 3 energies are pervading everything in this world. So now, with regards to time, it's said that between midnight and 8 a.m. in the morning, this is when sattva is prominent, the mode of goodness, the clarifying energy. Between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m., the middle of the day, is when passion or rajas, the active energy, is prominent. And between 4 p.m. and midnight is when tamas is prominent, the ignorant energy, the resting energy. So now, if you synergize your life with those energies, the laws of universal nature, then you actually become the most powerful, the most efficient, the most effective, because what you're actually doing is you're synergizing your life with the energies of the world. It's like you're swimming in the stream with the current behind you. So therefore, if one is wise, then between 4 p.m. and 12 p.m., that's when they'll rest their body. From 12 p.m. to 8 a.m., they'll use that time for deep work, internal meditation and focus, spiritual work. And between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m., the middle of the day, that's when they'll do their active work, because that's when the energetic force is there, the active force. So the Gita gives us this opportunity to say, like, now let me synergize myself with the energies of the universal nature, rather than just trying to synergize myself with the temporary trends of the world. And if you harmonize yourself with that higher nature, you're going to flourish.
The purification will happen.
Yeah.
Productivity will increase.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man. There was this story from the Mahabharata about Arjun's childhood where Dronacharya, the guru, is trying to train all the princes. So he keeps a wooden bird on a tree, and then he tells each of the princes to take aim but not fire until he gives the green signal. So he calls up the first prince and he asks the prince, "What do you see?" And the prince says, "I see the bird, I see the sky, I see the tree." He calls the second prince. The second prince says, "I see you, I see the bird, I see the tree." He calls the third prince. The third prince says, "Oh, I see the universe." Eventually he calls all the princes, and they're all saying that they see different things. The instruction he had given was that you could only fire the arrow into the eye of the bird. So eventually he calls up Arjun, and then Arjun says, "I only see the eye of the bird. I see nothing else." This one story, which I first came across as a 4-year-old watching a Mahabharata television show on TV, stays with me till today. And as I learn about neuroscience and how the brain operates and how important focus is, it's that same story that entered my subconscious mind when I was 4. And it helps me through life now, even to navigate through emotional trauma. Because eventually what emotional trauma is teaching you is detachment. But to create the detachment in the first place, you need intense levels of focus to just pull yourself out. By discipline, by things like the 5 a.m. club. So maybe this podcast is a trigger. I don't know. It's definitely pushed me in that direction. But would you like to conclude this particular part of this episode by saying anything? Because there's a lot of people watching this who are in the same mindset as me, that people are curious. People want to now switch this aspect of their life. At least people my age, for sure. I don't know how many people in their 20s would be open to something like this, because I certainly wasn't when I was younger. Probably even up till like age 28, 29. Something has shifted in my head. Could be my own spiritual journey, but I know that this is my next step, what you're talking about.
The pain of discipline is uncomfortable, but the pain of regret is unbearable. So discipline is uncomfortable. But then later on, if we don't apply ourselves, if we don't know, and if we don't embrace that which we know will awaken our deepest potential, then the regret that we'll look back with